The clatter of plates and low hum of chatter filled the small family restaurant. James, a single dad in his early 30s, sat across from his daughter, Lily, who was happily coloring on the kids' menu. To him, these moments were sacred, just a simple Saturday night dinner with his little girl. But then, the atmosphere shifted. A sharp voice cut through the restaurant's calm. At a table by the corner, a young woman in her 20s looked cornered, her eyes darting between two men who leaned too close. Their laughter was forced, their words slurred. It wasn't hard to tell she didn't want them there. "Daddy." Lily's small hand tugged at his sleeve, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can we help her?" James froze. His heart pounded as his daughter's innocent question echoed in his mind. He had promised himself to stay out of trouble, to focus on raising Lily in peace. But as a father, as a man, could he really sit and do nothing? Taking a steady breath, he rose from his chair. "Excuse me, gentlemen," James said firmly as he approached the table, his voice calm but unshakable. "She doesn't look comfortable. Why don't you give her some space?" The men sneered. One stood up, towering over him, trying to intimidate. "Mind your business, buddy." James stood his ground, his jaw tightening. "She is my business right now." The tension was thick. For a split second, it felt like the whole restaurant held its breath. And then one of the men shoved James hard. Chairs scraped, a glass tipped over. Lily gasped from her seat. But James didn't flinch. With a swift move, he positioned himself between the woman and the men. "You're done here. Leave." His voice carried a weight that silenced the room. The manager hurried over, backed by two other diners who had gathered the courage to step in after James. Realizing they were outnumbered, the men muttered curses and stormed out, leaving behind a broken sense of calm. The woman's eyes brimmed with tears. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice trembling. James gave a small nod, steadying his breath. "You're safe now." That night, as James and Lily walked home under the streetlights, she slipped her tiny hand into his. "Daddy," she said softly, "you're like a superhero." He smiled, hiding the heaviness in his chest. "No, sweetheart. We just did the right thing." The next day, life returned to routine. James dropped Lily at school and headed to his modest job at a local repair shop. But just as he was wiping his hands clean from engine grease, the shop door chimed. Standing there was the same woman from the restaurant, this time with a warm smile instead of fear in her eyes. "I hope this isn't weird," she said, clutching a paper bag. "I asked around and found you here. I just wanted to say, thank you again. And, I brought lunch." James blinked, surprised. He hadn't expected to see her again. She stepped closer, her tone soft. "Most people would have looked away. But you didn't. You protected me." He looked down at the bag in her hands, then back at her eyes. There was gratitude there, but also something more. A connection, fragile but real. At that moment, Lily's voice rang from the back of the shop, where she often played after school. "Daddy, who's that?" The woman smiled, waving shyly at Lily. "Just someone your dad helped." And Lily, in her innocent way, grinned. "Then you're our friend now." The woman's eyes softened, and James felt something stir inside him, a sense that maybe last night wasn't just an accident. Maybe it was the start of something new, something they all needed.